Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Now, I just watched a very, very short clip on Sky Sports with Dillian Whyte. I'm presuming that the full interview will be out soon. But the clip that we've seen, Dillian Whyte goes really, really in on the WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman. Now, I've been unhappy with Mauricio Sulaiman for quite some time over this whole situation. But the way Dillian Whyte does it, it's short, it's direct, and it's accurate, full of facts. Not one of it is whinging and crying and, oh, feel sorry for me. No, he's telling you the facts. Because he's saying, I should be fighting Tyson Fury now. There shouldn't be a third fight. We don't need to see a third fight. Deontay Wilder is currently injured. If he's injured, he can't fulfill the date. Why are we waiting? We don't need to wait. Me and Tyson Fury, we're two Brits. There's no international restrictions before me and Tyson Fury. Let's fight now. We don't need to see a third fight. We know who the better man is. Tyson Fury is the better man. Now, Tyson Fury, we all like Tyson Fury, don't we? Well, most of us like Tyson Fury. Some like him a little bit more than others. And I do question, are some of these fans, are you former Wilder fans? Because some of the comments that I've been getting sound like you're actually former Wilder fans, but now you've changed from the name Deontay Wilder to Tyson Fury. I'm wondering how many have actually jumped ship and taken some of their female feelings with them. But he's saying, I should have already fought Deontay Wilder. I should have already fought for the WBC World Heavyweight title. But I get punished because, for example, people complain about Dillian Whyte, the fact that he didn't take a Luis Ortiz fight when WBC ordered it. Even though it wasn't for the mandatory position, it was for the secondary mandatory position, which meant you can have a fight in the future. That's what it meant, but people seem to overlook that fact. The fact that he was supposed to take on Dominic Breazeale, that was ordered. He never pulled out of that negotiations. The WBC pulled Dominic Breazeale out of that fight to go fight Wilder because they installed him as mandatory. And all the time around it, even though that Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury fights two absolute bums in Sefer Ferry and Francisco Pianeta, then gets a world title shot straight away with Deontay Wilder. And then the WBC order the rematch between Fury and Wilder. Fury refuses and goes and fights Otto Wallin and Tom Schwartz instead. They also order Tyson Fury to take on Dillian Whyte. This is what Dillian Whyte's saying. I accepted the fight with Tyson Fury. I wasn't ducking him. I accepted. Okay, me, Tyson Fury, let's fight. Tyson Fury said, well, let's fight for the Diamond Belt, WBC Diamond Belt. WBC said, okay. Fury pulled out again. So that's twice that Tyson Fury went against the WBC, but yet he still got a world title fight. Twice. And he's going to get a third one defending his belt against Wilder. That nobody really wants to see. People know who the better man is, as I said before. So Dillian Whyte's argument is very, very simple. Why is it that I accept? Why is it that I go through final eliminators? Why is it that I do everything that WBC asks of me, but I'm not getting a world title shot? But Tyson Fury is. So let's have Tyson Fury versus me for the belt. Don't forget, Dillian Whyte, he is the interim world heavyweight champion for the WBC, which means he can replace Tyson Fury at any point if Tyson Fury can't fulfill any kind of obligations. That's the status of an interim world champion. Now, when he fought Oscar Rivas, he pushed the WBC so hard that they had no choice but to go, okay, fine. If you beat Oscar Rivas, you become the interim champion and the mandatory challenger. And you'll get to fight for the WBC belt in May. 2 days before the fight, there's an adverse finding with a PED sample tested by UKAD. Was it a coincidence, this? Which, of course, would later prove that he never failed in the first place, everything was okay, all that kind of stuff. But there was a question mark over him for long enough for the WBC to go, right, actually, we're now not going to give you a world title shot in May, even though you've already fought Oscar Rivas and you've already defeated him and you've already got a date for May, but we're now going to push it back to February. So even if you're cleared, you're not going to get a world title shot for February, even though Dillian Whyte's done nothing wrong. Now, the point of me mentioning this point is the fact that UKAD, who tested Dillian Whyte, is employed by whom? The British Boxing Board of Control. Correct? Who's the chairman of the British Boxing Board of Control? Charlie Giles. What's Charlie Giles' other job? Vice President for the WBC. Is there something untoward here? I don't know. I'm not accusing him. In fact, I've actually invited him to have a podcast with me on this channel, and he declined me. I wonder why he declined me. I wonder why. Did he bottle it? Come on, Charlie. Now, I'm not saying that Charlie Giles has done anything wrong, but the whole thing seems very, very fishy to me. In my opinion, it seems very fishy to me. Because the WBC needed something to happen with Dillian Whyte so they could allow Fury and Wilder not only part 2, but also part 3. Didn't need Dillian Whyte interfering. Whether you like Dillian Whyte, whether you don't, whether you rate him, whether you don't, you have to look at that and say, that is suspicious. Questions need to be asked. And at the end of the day, the British Boxing Board of Control, if you've got a problem, I couldn't care less. Go fuck yourself. Don't care. I'm not part of the board. At the end of the day, Dillian Whyte deserves his WBC World Heavyweight title fight, and him going in on Mauricio Sulaiman is absolutely correct, because Dillian Whyte's saying Fury turned down the rematch with Wilder originally. He turned down an ordered fight with him for the Diamond Belt, but yet Tyson Fury still gets the world title fight, whereas Dillian Whyte's done everything that's been asked of him and doesn't get a world title fight yet and keeps getting messed about. So he's saying, you know what, enough is enough. Fight me now, Tyson Fury. Mauricio Sulaiman, forget this third fight, force Tyson Fury to fight me. Because at the end of the day, if this third fight goes ahead with Wilder, what's going to happen? Is that going to be, what, November, December of this year? Is Dillian Whyte going to get his February fight? Of course not, because what's going to happen? Eddie Hearn, cha-ching, money, 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 he's going to be thinking Fury, Joshua, undisputed. Twice. So that's Dillian Whyte frozen out for another year. Of course we all want undisputed. Of course we do. We all want to see Fury and AJ with or without the belts. We still want to see those fights, or that fight. And I'm sure Dillian Whyte would like to see that fight too. But in truth, it's not really his problem, is it? He wants his world title fight. And that's the truth of it. So let's be real here. Let's be honest. Dillian Whyte is absolutely correct when he goes in on Mauricio Sulaiman. Mauricio Sulaiman is a slimy little bastard. What he's allowed Deontay Wilder to do as champion is despicable. The way that he allowed Dillian Whyte to be frozen out is despicable. And I can't stand the fact that Mauricio Sulaiman sits there and goes, oh, Dillian Whyte, you know, he's a friend of mine. There's nothing going. Shut up. Just shut up. The whole thing is fishy. Dillian Whyte is absolutely correct. He deserves justice. Now, what can he do about it? But he could sue the WBC. He can get hold of Eddie Hearn and apply the pressure. But Eddie Hearn don't give a fuck. Eddie Hearn couldn't care less. He don't want to step on the toes of the WBC. Of course he don't. Because he's got other fighters to consider, hasn't he? He don't care about Dillian Whyte. He's quite happy for Dillian Whyte to be on the back burner, getting pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. Dillian Whyte, I'm sure, is loving the fact that it's pay-per-view. I do too. I think he is a pay-per-view fighter. But where's the world title shot? Is he going to give Joshua Tyson Fury before Dillian Whyte? Joshua's already champion. Dillian Whyte hasn't had the opportunity for the WBC yet. What's WBC going to do? Are they going to allow Fury Wilder Part 3, contract or no contract? Anyway, I mean, I'll put the link to this in the description box for what it is that Dillian Whyte says, and he goes in on Mauricio Sulaiman and says it with facts. Very, very simple. How can you allow Tyson Fury to have world title fights against Wilder when he's turned you down twice? He told you to go screw yourself on one occasion. I don't care what the WBC says. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm lineal. Or, worst case scenario, why don't Fury just vacate the WBC belt? He don't need it. He says in his mind he's already undisputed. So why do you need to go fight Joshua with all the belts? Vacate that belt and let's have Dillian Whyte versus Wilder. Why not? But of course, undisputed. I get it. I want to see undisputed too. I'm not saying I don't. But the point is that Dillian Whyte, he deserves his WBC World Heavyweight title fight. Mauricio Sulaiman has been pissing him out for the longest time. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this whole situation. Of course, you drop me yours. Do you think that Dillian Whyte is correct? Do you think he's right? Do you think it's fair? If you're an extreme Tyson Fury fan, maybe you'll disagree, and that's fine. But ultimately, it's about integrity, isn't it? It's about honesty. And let's be honest here. Dillian Whyte deserves this world title fight. More people would rather see Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte than Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder for a third time. Let's be brutally honest about it. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next video.